Alright, try number 3. Alright, so if you have a number and it has a single bar above it, that's multiplied by 1,000. So here's a 5, there's a 10 with 1,000. If it's 2 bars above it, it's 2 1,000ths. If it's a skinny bar and a fat bar, that's 3 1,000ths. So any number you have with a single bar, double bar, or fat skinny bar, those are multiplied by 1,000ths. Alright, let's look at some examples here for doing the worksheet to do these. Alright, the Roman numeral system, we have the 1, which is a 1. A V is a 5, X is a 10, L is a 50, C is a 100, so on and so forth. Remember, if you have a large followed by a small, you just add them. If you have a small in front of a large, then take the large minus the small number. So for example, IX. That's a 10, that's a 1. So to find out the number, 10 minus 1 equals 9. Single bar. So let's look at these. So IV, that's a small in front of a large. So it's 5 minus 1 equals 4. IX, X is bigger, so it's 10 minus 1 makes it a 9. XL, L is 50 minus 10, that equals 40. XC, C is 100, X is 10, so it's 100 minus 10, which is 90. CD, C is 100, D is 500, so it's 500 minus 100 is 400. CN, hundreds, thousands, 100, so it's 1,000 minus 100 equals 900. So let's look at some Roman numerals now. Here's 1,000, M is 1,000, D is 500, C is 100, L is 50, X is 10, V is 5, X is 1. So it's all going from large to small, so you add them all together. 1,500, 1,600, 1,650, 660, 1,666. Now if you have multiple ones, you have 3 C's, so it's 3 times 100. 2 times 10s. A 5, and then 3 times 1. So it's 300 plus 20 plus 5 plus 3. 328. VI. It's 5 plus 1 equals 6. XCI, C is 100, X is 10, so it's 100 minus 10 equals 90, plus 1, 91. L is 50, 3 times 10, IX is 10 minus 1. So it's 50 plus 30, 3 times 10, plus 9. So it's 50 plus 30 is 89. That one's got a bar over it. So CDX. D is 500. C is, so it's 500 minus 100 equals 400. Plus 10 is 410. That bar above it times 1,000. So the answer is 410,000. 5 with a bar over it, so it's times 1,000. So it's 5,000. This is 5 with 2 bars, so it's 1,000 times 1,000. So it's 5 with 6 zeros. CXI, so C is 100, plus 10 plus 1, it's 111. It's a skinny and fat one, so it's 111 times 3 1,000ths. So it's 111 with 3, 6, 9 zeros. So 111 billion whatevers. Now notice here, only the bars over the CX. C is 100, X is 10, so it's 110, times 1,000, plus 1. So it's 110,000 plus 1. Now, the line's only over the D. The D is 500 times 1,000 plus 100 plus 50. L is 50. IX, which is 10 minus 1. So it's 500,000 plus 159, which is 500,159. Alright, that is the Roman numeral system. So now hopefully whenever you see movies or anything that have those in those, you could, in your head, determine what year is it. And the last one we're going to talk about is the Hindu Arabic system. This is the system we use today. It's our system because we're European-centric. It's the decimal system. Decimal means tens. The reason it's called Hindu Arabic is because it was developed by the Hindus the Arabic nations invaded and took over the Hindu regions, and mathematics is one of the big things they brought over. So it came from India to North Africa, across the strait to Spain, and from there the rest of Europe. So if you ever travel to Spain, you'll see that almost all the buildings, the churches, mausoleums, have artwork, and on walls, everything with small little pieces of glass or rocks. Those are called the mosaics. We call that the Moorish influence. Large buildings with lots of mosaic tiles everywhere. The reason it calls Moorish influence, the Arabs were referred to as the Moors. So when they took over Spain, they took over everything and designed their own cultural aspect of it. So they had numbers from 0 to 9. The reason they call it decimals was from 0 to 9, that's 10 numbers, 10 digits. Deci is 10. Decimal. We go from 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, all the way down to 90 to 99. Then from 100 to 199. Then 200 to 299, and so on and so forth. So it's always the first number that changes. They also introduced the comma to separate number groups. For example, 3,425,198. So we use to separate number groups. Also, around the 4th century BCE, the Arabic nation introduced the number 0. That was pretty big because, again, even though the Mayans used it, this is a big thing because now the larger part of the world was using it for commerce and for fair trade. Is if you have 10 sheep, I bought 10 sheep, so you have none, I have 10. So 0 is a big separator. Eventually they had negative numbers, because if I bought 10 sheep and you only bought me 5, you owe me 5. So 0 separated the positives from the negatives. Alright, let's do our homework problems.